Welcome to the Rockin Wellness Podcast, the show that takes you on a voyage to better health, wellness, and happiness that will rock your world. With me, Rachel Joy Olson, your host, your coach, and your biggest fan. Welcome to episode 2 of the Rockin Wellness Podcast. Today we are discussing how to identify and align your actions and the way you live your life to reflect your core values. Today will be a little coaching session, as I will encourage you to complete various activities that will help you identify your core values and then discover how to align those values with your actions as you set goals in your personal and professional life. And this is exactly what I would take a client through as I'm going through a coaching session with them. So today I'll be reading and using excerpts from my book, Create and Manifest Your Vision, Intention, and Goal Setting Workbook, which will have all the information and activities I'll speak about today. So if you'd like to follow along, please head on over to my website at rjowellness.com/books to purchase your own copy. You will find a digital PDF option, and you can also purchase a paperback copy directly from Amazon. If you already have a copy of the book, go ahead and grab it so that you can follow along. If you don't, just grab a piece of paper and a pen so you can take notes and do the exercises. So let's start with identifying your core values. Your core values are the guiding principles that shape your decisions, your actions, and ultimately, your life. They represent what truly matters to you on a deep personal level. When you live in alignment with your core values, life feels meaningful and purposeful. On the other hand, when your actions and goals conflict with your values, you may experience dissatisfaction, stress, or a sense of even being off balance. Understanding your core values is a critical first step towards manifesting your vision. It allows you to set goals that are aligned with who you truly are and what you stand for. When your goals reflect your values, you're more motivated to pursue them, and the journey towards achieving them feels much more rewarding and authentic. So, for our first activity, let's discover your core values and beliefs. So this reflection activity is designed to help you uncover the values that are most important to you. So I'd like you to take some time now as we go through a few questions to reflect and answer each question. Try to be as honest and thoughtful as possible, as these answers will serve as the foundation for the goals and the vision you set for yourself moving forward. I encourage you to pause this audio as you reflect on each question. And if you'd like to make a quick note of your answers, then come back and move on to the next one. Okay, let's get started. Question number 1. What moments in your life have made you feel the most fulfilled or proud? So think of times when you felt truly happy, energized, or accomplished. What values were you honoring in those moments? For example, were you helping someone else? Were you being creative? Were you learning something new or spending time with loved ones? Question number 2. What frustrates you or upsets you the most? Sometimes our core values become evident when we feel upset or stressed. For instance, if you become frustrated when someone is dishonest, it might indicate that integrity is a core value for you. So think about what situations consistently cause negative emotions for you. What values do you think are being challenged in these situations? Question number 3. What qualities do you admire in others? Think about some people you respect or look up to. What values do they embody that you find inspiring? Is it their generosity, courage, authenticity, maybe a commitment to growth? Question number 4. What do you want to be remembered for? Consider how you would like others to think of you. What legacy do you want to leave behind? What values do you want to be known for? Question 5. What activities make you feel most alive or at peace? Are there specific hobbies, tasks, or experiences that give you a sense of purpose or satisfaction? These could also be clues to your core values. For instance, if hiking in nature brings you peace, you might value environmental stewardship or personal wellness. Once you have reflected on these questions, review your answers and see if you can identify common themes. Write down 5 to 7 words, each representing a value that you resonate with the most, and these will be your core values. You can choose to fill out the worksheet in the Create and Manifest Your Vision book, or you can visit my website at rjowellness.com/podcast, go to episode 2, show notes, and download a free copy of this worksheet to fill out. Now that you've identified your core values, you have an extremely powerful tool to guide your decisions and your actions. Setting goals that align with your values is the key to creating a fulfilling life. Now, a few reasons why knowing and aligning with your core values will improve your life will include increased motivation. When your goals are tied to what you truly value, you feel a deeper sense of purpose in pursuing them. For example, if you value personal growth, setting a goal to learn a new skill or take up a challenging project will naturally inspire and energize you. The motivation comes from within because the goal resonates with who you are at your core. Clear decision making. Life often presents us. Life is about tough choices, right? Life is about experiences and challenges. So when you're clear on your values, decision making becomes simpler. You can ask yourself, does this choice honor my values? And if the answer is yes, well, you know you're on the right path. But if the answer is no, it might be a sign that the decision may not be aligned with your authentic self, and it could lead to dissatisfaction down the road. So you might want to really consider and think about if that decision is the right one for you. Is it something you can live with? Greater fulfillment. Goals that are aligned with your values are more likely to lead to a sense of fulfillment. When you live in accordance with your values, even small achievements feel meaningful. So for example, if you value connection and you set a goal to spend more quality time with your family, the experience of achieving that goal will bring lasting joy rather than a fleeting sense of accomplishment. And really, when it comes down to it, happiness at the end of the day is really what we're all looking for, isn't it? Resilience during challenges. So pursuing any goal, if you've ever set a goal or tried to accomplish a goal, every goal, especially if it's worth it, comes with obstacles and setbacks. Whenever is it a straight line from your starting point to the end point? It never is, right? It's like the universe is saying, all right, do you really want this? And it gives you little challenges on the way to the big goal to test you, to make sure it is what you actually want. So when your goals are tied to your values, it's easier to stay committed and push through those challenges. Your values provide the why behind your goals, giving you the strength to keep going even when the journey is tough. So for instance, if you value health, you'll be more likely to stay consistent with your fitness goals, even when it becomes hard, because you know that it aligns with your deeper purpose. Authentic success. Success looks different for everyone. When your goals are aligned with your core values, you're not chasing someone else's version of success, you're creating your own. You can achieve external success like wealth or career advancement while staying true to your inner principles. This will ultimately lead to a life that feels both successful and authentic to who you are. Sadly, so many people might achieve success or great wealth, and then they look back and go, I've pretty much lost my soul somewhere along the line. And, it's not ideal, right? We want to make sure that we can sleep at night, we can look at ourselves in the mirror, and make sure that we're contributing to this life in some sort of positive way. So now that you know aligning your goals with core values is the foundation for a fulfilling, purpose-driven life, you'll be able to set goals and take actions that truly resonate with your own heart and soul. As you move forward, revisit your core values regularly because they may change over time. Your values will serve as a compass to help you stay on track with your vision, make meaningful decisions, and create a life that feels aligned with your true self. Now, let me give you an example of how living in alignment with my core values helps to shape and transform my life so that you can get an understanding of how connecting with your core values can be. So my top 5 core values are health, freedom, integrity, family, and compassion. So with each decision I make, I like to make a quick mental note to see if what I'm doing is in alignment with one of these core values. If it is, I go ahead. And if it's not, either I think long and hard about what I'm about to do, and then decide if going against what I believe in is worth it. And ultimately, it usually is not. Anytime I have ever gone against what I believe in and moved forward towards something that I truly in my bones felt was wrong, it was always the wrong decision for me. So here's a prime example. We all work hard for our money, so it's important that we make smart choices about where we spend this money and the people and the companies we choose to support. Those of us who live in North America buy many products and services on a regular basis, but often we are not giving enough thought to who these companies are and what they believe in. Let's say, for example, you're someone who chooses to live a compassionate lifestyle and you cannot stand the thought of contributing to animal cruelty or the destruction of our beautiful planet, like me. If that's the case, it will be very important for you to make sure that the products and services you buy do not go to companies that support those things. For example, let's take a look at makeup companies. The cosmetic industry is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. But before any of these products hit the public market, they often go through extensive testing on animals to be sure they are safe for human use. Sadly, these tests are often very painful and cause so much suffering to animals, and honestly, there's a lot of companies that don't test on animals, so it's obviously not necessary. So if you wear makeup and your values include compassion and animal welfare, take a look at the brands you are using and see if these companies test on animals. If they do, stop using the products. If they don't, great, keep supporting them, and that will help them do more of what they do. It's like offering them a donation to say, hey, I love what you're doing. Keep going with this. Like I said, on a side note though, the good news is that many more companies are choosing to no longer test on animals. There's many laws that are banning animal testing, and thanks to many people protesting this cruel act, a new bill has been passed in Canada that bans cosmetic testing on animals. So as you can see, it's not even necessary. And, sadly, in some cases, it does still happen, but it's not necessary. So when you have a moment, maybe it's now, maybe it's later, I encourage you to spend a few moments going through your house and write down a list of all the major brands you use and the companies you support. Anything from food to cleaning products, makeup to clothing, and do a Google search to see what best practices these companies use to develop their products. Also, think of the services you use and do the same thing. Now, if you want to do this now, just press pause on this audio, or you can do this after you're done listening. But now that you have a list of your own core values, and perhaps you have a list of the companies you support, take a look and see if your values are in alignment with these companies. Here's how you can do this. Let's ask yourself a series of questions based on your own core values about these companies. Some of these questions might be this. Does this company believe in ethical sourcing of ingredients, or do they contribute to animal cruelty and destruction of the environment? Okay, obviously, if they do, this wouldn't be a company you'd want to support. Does this company support human slavery, such as poor working conditions and below fair pay for employees? Now, sadly, this happens a lot more than I think many of us would like to admit. But I think once we know, and we can choose to do better. Does this company test their products on animals or humans that cause suffering, disease, and death? Because even testing on humans can be problematic, obviously, as well. Does this company do things for their community, or do they take away from their community? This could be an important thing to you. Contribution to community might be one of your values. And if this company doesn't do that, it might be a company you no longer want to support. So the answers to these questions and how you choose to proceed are, of course, ultimately based on your own values and what you believe to be okay. I know for me personally, once I identified the variety of companies whose products and services I was using, I was actually quite astonished to find out that many of the companies I was supporting did not align with my personal core values. Some companies used a variety of chemical ingredients that were known to be carcinogenic, such as sodium lauryl sulfate in toothpaste and aluminum in deodorant. Well, I don't want to support companies that are putting poisonous products into the products that I'm putting on my body. Other companies tested their products on animals, causing a ton of suffering to these beautiful living souls, or used child labor, or caused destruction to the environment in some way. And I just know personally, I couldn't support that. After doing this research, much of it made me sick to my stomach to know that I was paying these companies to keep doing what they were doing. I was contributing to the problem. I knew at that moment I had to change my ways. I had to be more responsible with my spending and pay attention to who and what I was supporting. It's no different than, supporting a local business, or maybe a friend of yours that is, has her own business, and you say, hey, you know what? I really love what you're doing. I'm going to donate to your cause, or, I want you to keep doing what you're doing. Now, after you do this kind of research, though, you now have a choice to make. Sometimes that's the hardest thing, right? Is when we know we have to now do better. You can either turn your head to unethical behaviors or poor practices from these companies and just ignore